Sweat versus Painter ruled that states had to provide law school for African American students. Here is the victorious student in the same legal classroom there as white students. And of course, Brown versus Board, which fully removed all legal segregation when it came to the school system. However, the reaction to this decision was mixed at best. Uh, States such as Kansas and Oklahoma began desegregation very rapidly, but other places like Mississippi and Georgia vowed total resistance. In 1955, the Supreme Court handed down a second ruling known as Brown 2, and this ordered school desegregation implemented with all deliberate speed. The president at the time was a guy by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, and initially he was very reluctant to get involved in this. The governor of Arkansas publicly supported segregation. In September of 1957, he ordered the National Guard to turn away the 9 African American students at Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. A federal judge ordered the governor to let the students into the school. The NAACP arranged to have the students driven to school. What ended up happening, though, was one student didn't get that message in time, and they had to face an extremely abusive crowd. That's what this image here is, trying to enter the Central High School here. Her and the other members trying to attend Central High School were turned away by the National Guard. And so this, again, brings it back to Eisenhower. And what he did is he placed the Arkansas National Guard under federal control, and he ordered 1,000 paratroopers from the 101st Airborne Unit into Little Rock. It's a pretty famous Army unit there. In 1957, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1957, which gave the Attorney General greater power over school desegregation. It also gave the federal government some control over enforcing voting rights. And so with these decisions and with the action of the executive branch being led by Eisenhower at this point in time, you see the country move towards legal desegregation. This lecture is going to be about an important historical moment in American history and an important Supreme Court case. And this, of course, is Brown versus Board of Education, which actually was a group of lawsuits that were all brought together in front of the Supreme Court. Now, to lay the groundwork for this, segregation as a legal system came about in this country in the 1870s and 1880s. The Supreme Court case Plessy versus Ferguson, an 8-1 decision, decided that separate but equal was the law of the land. Many African Americans moved north in the following era to try to escape racial segregation, but the system was largely unchecked up until about the mid 20th century. That's not to say that people were all on board with this, but you begin to see a concerted legal effort to challenge this, led by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP. They begin to chip away at segregation with a series of court cases. In 1946, they won the Morgan versus Virginia Supreme Court decision, which declared that segregation on buses that traveled across state lines was unconstitutional.